Hey, this is Dan here from Rune Silk, and I'm joined by one other, and that's none other than Damo for show, and this is the Beardmail podcast. So sit back, listen, and enjoy.
Welcome to the Beardmail podcast. It's me, Damo, for show, and him. I haven't brought him in yet because if you listen to last week's podcast, he was very hype. He was hype about the AI. He was hype about the chat GPT, and he's still banging on about it. So I'm just letting him have a little cool down in the background before I bring him in. Today, we're going to be talking about New Year. We're going to be talking a little bit about that and this, but it's a great podcast. And here he is now. Is he on the Haribo? Dan, he's gone. He's gone. Dan, it's 2023. Get your ass in the studio. Where are you?
What are you doing not allowing me on the introduction of a podcast? I have to make an entrance off the floor. I was having a little nap on the floor.
Beautiful.
Whoa.
So you've started off 2023 in fine form, Dan. You've literally just done it again. So the people that are listening, they couldn't see you were on the floor, Dan. They couldn't see that you weren't there. And they're going, oh, God, we're going to have to go and watch it on YouTube. Anyway, how are you, mate?
Because
although... You go.
Oh, I said that's the point. That's the point. Go and watch it on YouTube as well as listening. That's the point. That's the point.
If they watch it on YouTube, Dan, what am I wearing today?
Damo is sporting. So when I first jumped in on Damo, I was like, why are you dressed as Rocky? And he actually then says, showed me the Rocky of his little yellow and black dressing gown. He is actually boxing in the chair. He's got his Italian stallion dressing gown on. Yeah. Did you get that for Christmas?
No, I've had it for a little while. I'm all about that health and fitness, Dan. I'm all about health and fitness. We are in 2023 now. I'm deep into some New Year's resolutions, and I've ceased doing my boxing this evening to come and see you, sit in the studio, and do some podcasting. So, how was your New Year?
It was quite quiet actually. I didn't really get up too much. I went in quite hard on the 30th. We met up with some friends from school. I don't like getting, more recently, I don't really like getting smashed up on the 31st because I like to start the year as a mean to go on, and I really don't like being shit-faced still on the 1st of January. So I had it large on the 30th instead. And then, the 31st, I actually just chilled in with the missus.
Smart move. What were you doing at 11:59 on New Year's Eve?
I can't divulge this information on the podcast. It'll make it explicit.
Were there fireworks, Dan?
There were actually fireworks, yeah, both at 11:59 and at midnight, and then at about 12:01 as well.
Absolutely naughty. Do you know what I was doing on New Year's Eve?
Washing your hair.
No, I was in bed by 10 o'clock, snoozing. I've been poorly for a few weeks. I cannot shift this chesty, coffee, wheezy. It's good for the ASMR, isn't it? Oh, that's terrible. Sorry, listeners.
You had that on the beard brand quiz as well. You were pretty poorly there. Now, before we move on, I know you didn't want to talk about Christmas, but we have had a podcast about Christmas, and I just want to know: did you have a pot noodle with your old man?
I didn't know. We didn't have any food at my old man's, but I did have a beer around there.
Nice.
And that, my last beer would have been on the 30th, actually, because I've been all about that fitness life since then. But I'm trying, because of the old cough now, I'm not actually, it's the first bit of fitness I've done today. But other than that, I've just been trying to get a walk in. But New Year's Day, alluding to what you said about people being a little bit hungover and then just carrying on. For some people, it was like a double bank holiday, right? And in my younger days, I would have loved the concept of that because it could have been out. But I actually worked at Cheltenham Racecourse, and there were a lot of people at Cheltenham Racecourse on New Year's Day that were clearly topping up from the night before, and they were partying on and on and on all through New Year's Day because they would have had 2 bank holidays. So quite a big sesh for a lot of people. But now we are into that time of year where a lot of people are making a lot of changes, and I'm excited about it, Dan.
Yeah, no, I've got stuck into the running. I'm still doing it. So far, so good. I haven't stopped, haven't quit yet. So, as you may have heard back in the last few podcasts, doing the run the month for January, all in good faith for Prostate Cancer UK. So, about 30% through. Yeah, not enough to talk about yet. I think something like 67 quid. So people need to start putting their money in their pot. Stingy,
For those of you
selfish.
listening, I was just showing Dan money and imagining money in my fingers. It's alluring to how much have you raised so far. So £67 for the charity already. Well done, Dan. Keep going on strong. If you keep going at that rate, £67, that's more than £10 a day. So by the end of the day, it's 310 quid. You'll be laughing all the way to the Prostate Cancer Bank. Well done. So today,
my target's 500, so
500.
Mm.
You have to run a little bit further and faster. How's the knee holding up?
It's been a bit sore, but that's just me being unfit and old. So I have bought the knee brace now, or the knee support. So hopefully that's going to keep me running a little bit longer. I haven't injured myself like I did last year yet, where I was literally held up on the couch for about 4 days without being able to walk up and down the stairs. So far, so good.
Good. And I hear you've had a little helper pulling you along, actually. Tell us a little bit about your little helper.
Yeah, my big, strong dash hound pulls me along whenever I'm feeling a bit tired. Yeah, I'll just go, and she just pulls, and it takes a load of the strain off of me. But it's quite good. She loves it. She'll come with me for the solid 2.3 miles that I do when we go, and she's a good excuse to take a break as well, because she's got to have a dump, or she smells every bit of leaf or whatever. So she stops regularly. I get to have a breather. Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner. So, Dan, we're going to talk about this outside of the podcast, but now we're here and we're recording. We might as well go for it. Do you feel that you'd be able to do 3.3 miles in one go? It's still having a little break along the way, like 3.3 miles in one session. Do you think that's viable?
Is that 5K?
Correct-ish.
Yeah, I mean, it might be in one session, but I'm probably not going to be able to run the full 3.3 miles, because I can't even do 2 miles without stopping yet.
But what about if it was in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah, I'd still be stopping. I've smoked for too many years.
And what about if you were wearing a postbox outfit?
Oh, I'd be well up for that. You talk about the Milton Keynes Park run.
And a go fast stripe, maybe. Yes, I genuinely think, Dan, that we, as part of your run the month, should go to a park run betwixt us both, and the nearest one is Milton Keynes. Meet up there and do it. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday, so I think not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. Wear the Beardmail outfits and jog. In the comments below, if you think we should make that happen, would you like to see me and Dan trying to run 5K in the mud? Whilst wearing our postbox outfits,
because that would be hilarious.
Would you be up for it?
I'll be up for it. I think it'd be really funny as well, because I've got a bit of a waddle when I walk. So bearing in mind, if I'm running, this whole postbox is going to be flapping from left to right as I'm running through a field. I think it'd be quite funny. We need someone to come and film us. So any volunteers who are in the Milton Keynes area who want to come and film Damo and I running for a park run on a Saturday, I'm assuming it's a Saturday, please come down and film it so we can get some content in itself.
Do you know what? I think we could probably get at least a couple of DBFCs just to come along and run with us as well, and just do a couple of selfies, a bit of videoing. There's a few round that way, actually. Wayne Coulter, if you're listening, he's Milton Keynes massive. Buckinghamshire is also, I think Jackie Baker's out that way. I know some of the boys from Leicester probably wouldn't mind a little quick jaunt down the M1 to get for a little run around. Maybe we could do it. Are you signed up to parkrun already? Do people know what parkrun is? Should we talk about parkrun? That's neat, isn't it?
I've not. I don't think I've ever signed up for it. There's one that usually takes place in St Neots, but I don't know if you just I don't know if you sign up or you just turn up. I don't know.
Let me explain then. This is a little bit of an aside, but it's naturally happened, so we'll talk about it. I've done park runs for years. And you sign up online for absolutely for free. And then what they do is they issue you a barcode. Now you can print that off, or in the more modern times now, you can actually get it sort of printed on an actual, plastic laminate keyring card, or you can have a silicone wristband with it on. But basically, this barcode enables you to run. It's all for free because it's ran by volunteers and the community. But what it means is when you finish the race, and I say race in the loosest term, when you finish the race, you go through a funnel at the end, and then they give you a tag. And then what they do is they scan your tag and they scan your barcode, and then it allows you to record your result. So then you can go on the website and see where you finished on the day. And they do it by categories as well. So it will be like the fastest male, fastest female. And then they do it in age categories. So fastest 35 to 40-year-old, 40 to 45. And as much as some people do go and they do race and they do run fast, other people also, it takes them an hour to do it. It's open for everybody. It's a real good community, feel good day out. And they have marshals around the track that cheer you on. If you want to marshal, if you want to volunteer to help out, you absolutely can. And you can get a T-shirt for doing it. Once you've done 25 volunteers, you get a T-shirt. And once you've done 100 runs, you get a T-shirt for running. I think I've done 100 and I think I've done about 110. But it's a big deal. It's a real good community thing. I would highly recommend Park Run. Absolutely go on. It's every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, and they do them all over the world now. It started, I think the first one was in Watford, near London, Watford, not Watford Village. And I think Mo Farah kicked it off. But it was, it's turned into a big deal now, and it's epic. So yes, they're all over the place. Dan, you need to get signed up, get yourself a barcode, print it off. And I think we should do that. And anybody else who wants to come along, drop yourself in the comments. 9 o'clock Saturday morning. I'll check which one, because Milton Keynes will probably have a few, like big places like that. They have different ones, because basically you can host it in any park where you get permission and you're allowed to do it. So also what's interesting with park runs, while I'm going off and wobbling, some are like over mud, some are on concrete, some are 2 laps, some are 3 laps, some are 1 lap, but it's always 5 kilometers. So you can sort of test yourself in different areas. Some people travel around and go to loads of different ones. I've been to probably about 20 different ones, I think. I once went on one on a stag do in Dublin, actually. I got up early in the morning and went and found it. I think it was St Anne's Park, and I actually got a PB because it was really windy and it was wind assisted. I was like, yes, get in. But yeah, park run. Should we nail it, Dan? Should we get it in the diary?
Yeah, I'm well up for that. Let's book it in. If it's the 11th, if you say no, not 11th, that's a Wednesday. What's the date of the next?
No, not. It'll
Saturday?
be, well, this podcast will go out on the Wednesday, so actually we'll do it a couple of days after.
14th. So the 14th.
Like yeah. There you go, January
Yeah,
14th.
let's do it. Let's get it. Let's January 14th. Let's get it. Let's get it in. Get in the diary, Sam.
It's going to happen. 5 kilometers in the post box.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be the one that comes in at the last, the slowest 39-year-old post box.
Well, you'll be the second fastest post box on the day.
Well, that's it. Because honestly, I'm so bad at running. Like, I have to stop like every 30 seconds and kind of have a good deep breath, maybe fall on the floor and have a little kip or something, because I'm so unfit, man. My lung capacity is like a packet of Mr. Tom's crisps. Do you remember Mr. Tom's crisps?
No.
They're the little tangy tomatoes. The bag's about this big. They were like 10p.
I remember Tangy Toms. Is that what they were? Tangy Toms?
Yeah, Tangy Toms. Sorry, Mr. Tom's is the peanut bar, isn't it? It's the peanut brittle bar. Sorry, Tangy Toms. Sorry, I was getting confused between snacks. Yeah, my lung capacity is like a packet of Tangy Toms, so I can't run for very long, and then I die.
But you've got what's that? Tom's. What bar is that? Tom. What's it called? Mr. Tom's.
Mr. Tom's. That's the peanut brittle bar. It comes in a yellow packet.
Dan, you've got 10 days to train, mate. So fret you not, me old amigo. We will absolutely crush it. Right, that's that parked up and boxed off. Do you know what I want to do for today's podcast? What it's really about? What's the question?
Do we need to have our own answers though? Because last time we did this, we were supposed to see how well matched we were, wasn't it?
No, what we're going to do, right, is once upon a time we did something called This or That, and I asked Dan a load of things to find out if he preferred this or that. Well, I think this time what we should do is call it That or This. So it's a little game show style. Dan's got a couple of things there. I've got a couple of things there, and we're going to go through them. And this will enable the viewers and the listeners to find out a little bit about it. It might be a bit polarizing. Some people might agree with you. They might not agree with you. They might agree with me. It depends. We could do some of that the same. We could do some that are different, but it's definitely going to happen. I'm going to kick us off. I'm going to ask you a couple. Are you ready, Dan? Are you ready?
That or this.
Was that Bewitched?
That was a few things. It was Bewitched, yeah. There was a little bit
And
of
there was
Bewitched
some
in
game
there.
show in there.
I had to kind of mix it up a little bit, otherwise we'd get done for like copyright and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I kind of switched it up a little bit.
Let's do it. Daniel Jones, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
I'll start you off with some food ones because I know you like food. Sweet or savoury?
Savoury.
Tell me why, Daniel. Tell me why.
I just like savoury food. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind sweet stuff, but I find if I eat too much sweet stuff, I feel a bit sick. Like the other night, actually, I bought Megan this really banging after 8 brownie, and she didn't eat it. So I put it in the oven to soften it up a little bit. But we also had these billionaire cheesecakes, the little portion-sized ones. So I thought, well, what might be nice is the billionaire dollar cheesecake with half of the brownie on top of it, and I ate them. Bearing in mind, I'm not supposed to be eating sugar in January, so I've not really had much like sweet stuff. I nearly threw up. I ate the lot and some of Megan's because she couldn't finish hers, and then surprisingly, I felt sick afterwards. So I like savoury food. I never feel sick on savoury food. Keep it coming. Bring it on.
Which lends us nicely to the next one: binging on a whole load of cake or eating moderately.
Was not neither of those really. I mean, I would like to binge on a whole lot of moderately, if that's all right.
I would probably go sweet. I like sweets, Dan. I work for a sweets charity, so I'm surrounded by sweets 3 days of the week, and I do love some sweets, but not this month.
Have they noticed that their profit margin's going down since you started? Damo seems to be reloading so many sweets, but we don't seem to be getting as many donations to match the amount of sweets he's taking.
And he looks a stone heavier than when he started. What is this controversy?
Bit of correlation.
How about this one, Dan? I literally made this one up on the spot. Tangy Tom's or Mr. Tom's peanut bar?
Tangy Tom's. I like peanut butter, but it flipping annoys me when I bite into it. It's all stuck in your teeth and harder than you expect. It's an unnecessary snack. So Tangy Tom's, and give me a 10-pack.
When was the last time you had some Tangy Tom's?
Yeah, a couple of decades ago, maybe a decade. Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen them in years. I've had similar crisps, but I've not actually seen Tangy Tom's in the shop for a good decade at least.
I used to have a bag of them after going swimming. They used to be in the vending machine at the sports centre. Big up the Ken Marriott and Rugby Town. But yeah, that's where I used to have Tangy Tom's. Take them back. I would choose Tangy Tom's if you were to ask me that or this. I'd say that Tangy Tom's. Boom. Here's one quite fitting for the sort of for the time of year. Messi or Ronaldo?
Probably Messi. Maybe. Oh yeah, maybe Messi. Ronaldo. Aren't they the same person? Perhaps they're just footballers that are shit up and played for the same team and everything.
No.
I don't really have a preference, to be honest. I don't really care for footballers very much.
I thought you were this big fantasy football leagues. Is it just for British, just for the Premier League for the fantasy football? And I ain't going to do none of that foreign shit.
So bear in mind, Messi hasn't played in Premiership since I've ever played fantasy football, and Ronaldo came back to United and did bugger all. So again, neither of them. Give me Kieran Trippier any day of the week. Either out of them.
Is that why you can't choose because they're not in the Premier League?
I don't follow them. I don't know what they do. They kick a ball and Brian score loads, and Argentina won the World Cup. Argentina won the World Cup, and everyone's been getting these phallic-shaped tattoos on them of Lionel Messi kissing the helmet. I mean, the World Cup trophy.
I would say
But I don't know, really.
Messi, because he strikes me as being a little bit more humble, and everyone likes humble. I think people have gone off
Yeah.
Ronaldo since he started to be a little bit of a knob. But you've got to have a bit of arrogance to be the world's best, don't you?
Yeah, exactly that. Well, I mean, being the world's best is going to make you arrogant, right? I mean, what do you expect? You know, if you're the world's best and humble, you must have a 12-inch penis, like that. You know, there's a mythical creature. Do you know what I mean?
Or a big golden one that's got World Cup written on it.
Yeah, loads of people with their lips on it.
Pele's kissed that. Has he kissed that? Pele passed away, by the way.
Yeah,
We've had a couple of. We should have done a bit about
yeah.
recent celebrity deaths. Vivienne Westwood or Pele, Dan?
Probably Vivienne Westwood, just because I like the picture that they put up recently of her when she did die, of her with loads of lipstick all over her face, looking. I think that was a thing against plastic surgery, wasn't it? Or was that just her look?
I haven't seen it. I'm not massively into it. She's a fashion designer, right? Or was a fashion designer. Is that right?
Yeah, huge fashion designer. There's a photo of her with like her basically, she's got like lipstick drawn on, loads of lines all over her face in lipstick. She was just really nuts. I've met her actually a long time ago. She did a talk at Damo University. Again, very, 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 very interesting woman.
Any relation to Tim?
Sadly not. Well, not that I'm aware of, but no, I don't think so.
Westwood! He got in trouble. Did you watch that documentary?
Yeah, he's been getting done for touching naughties, isn't he? He's doing a bit of an R. Kelly. He's trying to get back in the closet or come out of the closet or something like the closet, some 17-year-olds or something like that.
I think we already talked about him. Glass half empty or glass half full?
That's the third one on my list. You're not allowed that one. I've got to go back and find another one now. I'm always pretty much a glass kind of half kind of full. I think most of the time I'm an optimist. So I can be pessimistic sometimes, but I'd like to say that I'm about 65% optimist. So that's about half full, right?
So you're 65% half full and 35% half empty.
Yeah, something like that. If that were to make sense, that would be my answer.
I'm not sure that's how halves work, but you know, I'll take it. I would say glass half empty or glass half full. Depends. I'm doing dry January, so presently there shouldn't be anything in the glass, or if there is, only water.
Good man, good man. Yeah, I'm not drinking in January. I'm doing dry January myself, actually. But then I was pretty dry most of 2022, if I'm honest, apart from the craft beer festival. Soaking wet.
Hospitalised me.
Literally soaking wet. Through drinking beers and from sweating. Yeah. Sorry, next question.
It's your go, Dan. I think you should ask me some that or this or that.
Oh, have you done 5? Was that 5 already? Well, look at that. Time flies when you're having the mega amounts of fun on this quiz. That or this. Art museum or history museum?
I missed that. I was just enjoying the intro so much. What was it?
Art museum or history museum?
That's so fucking boring, Dan. I'm asking you about Tangy Toms. I'm asking you about Messi and Ronaldo. Art museum or a history museum? Museum.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Dan. Yeah. I'm a you know what I mean? A museum.
I thought you were an educated guy. I love a museum.
I'm very clever. I have Google in my hand every single day. I'm not the only thing I have in my hand every day. I would have to say a history museum. Because I did actually go in one actually a little while ago. I was around the Oxford's Massive. Do you remember where we did the Oxford thingamajig? And there is a free. I like museums; they're free, right? You can go in just to use the toilet.
Yeah.
And I went into one, and there was quite a lot of stuff in there from one of my interests, which is the polar exploration of the 1900s. You know, I love Shackleton and all that jazz. And there was quite a bit of stuff in there about that. So that was kind of cool. And then there was some weird stuff in there. But yeah, I don't think I would be interested in art because that's very what's the word? Very
careful, it's 2023.
No, some people can think it's good and some people think it's shit. What's that word? Subjective. It's very subjective.
Yeah.
Art. So yes, I would say a history museum. What about you, Dan? Art or history museum?
Well, I'd be quite torn between the two actually, because some might say that that's a difficult question to answer because quite a lot of art museums are full of history. So it's actually more of a controversial question in itself. I love an art museum. Took my daughter to the gallery, to Tate Modern. That was really good. Been to the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. Everything looked really weird, but it was also quite good. And I love there's a wicked museum in Cambridge called the Fitzwilliam Museum that's got loads of like ancient Egyptian stuff in there and civil, big sort of old armor and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. And you can see weapons that date back to like thousands of years ago. So I love that. I love all that kind of stuff. If I'm feeling it.
I would say that probably what you're saying then is about half and half, about 65-35.
I'd say 65-35 history over art museum. Yeah, I would say that the art museum's half full, and the history museum's 35% half empty. Okay, solo vacation,
Yes.
or group vacation. This is on your own, yeah.
I don't know, because a vacation's a strong word. So I've done a couple of things on my own. So like I've cycled the length of the country. Is that a vacation? Sort of. I wasn't working. I was working hard, pedaling every day, but I wasn't at work as such. But it wasn't really a holiday, but it kind of was, I suppose. And I've also ran. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the podcast. Actually, I ran to Antwerp for charity, mate. And that was 13 days of running. I say by myself. A couple of people joined me at different stages for a little bit. But they weren't really vacations. But I do like a bit of time by myself, and I think that's a man thing. I think the Australians get it right when they talk about walkabout, and they have to do that as part of being a man in Australia. But then that said, group vacations, I haven't really had a group vacation, and maybe this is something I'm missing actually, and maybe you could hook me up actually. Immediately, I think group vacation, like stag do, like all the lads going away like that, and they're just messy, and you can fall out of people, and it can be all right, and it can be crap, and you can have some great memories, and you can have some shit moments. But I think what I haven't ever done, what you probably do, and I've heard of other people do it, which sounds cool, is like going away as adults, like in a mixed group, like whether it be with wives or girlfriends or friends, and just sort of doing some stuff. But I mean,
that's called dogging, isn't it? Or I think that's called like dogging or exhibitionists or something like that. I think that's what you.
No, I know some people that go away. They're like, it's just what they do. They're all similar age. It's the only time of the year where they can not have their kids with them. For example, they all get the grandparents to look after them or whatever, and they go away and they have a week away and just get to be adults and party and have fun. But don't you do something like that with a little festival getaway gathering thing for someone's birthday? Don't you? That I probably should have gone to. But yeah, group holidays. Never had one, so I don't really know. I would probably go solo vacation. Boom. What about
you? So I haven't ever really. Have I ever been on a solo vacation? I've never really been on a solo vacation, but I reckon I'd probably enjoy it because I do like time by myself sometimes. A group vacation, like you say, can be absolutely messy. Like when we travelled to Thailand, it was carnage. When you travel with family, it's stressful. Where are my kids? Are they even on the same flight as me? Are we, that kind of thing, don't do that. Don't look over the edge, come away from that, stop picking up that thing. Yeah, I'd probably quite enjoy just a little bit of solo vibe time, just me, hammock, book, some stimuli and just chill for a bit, really.
I forgot.
I guess I do go. Hold on.
Well, you just said Thailand. I forgot all about Thailand. I went there for a month on my own. That's a holiday on your own, and actually, it's great if not necessarily forces you to, but it enables you to be more sociable with new people that you wouldn't. I think if you go away in your own little group or in a couple, you're probably not going to be as talkative to other people necessarily. Whereas if you're on your Todd, straight away, boom, you're going to end up chatting to people and making new friends.
Well, yeah, because you're either going to stay on your own or you're going to meet new friends, and yeah, and I find it quite easy to talk to new people. It takes them a little while to kind of go from who the hell is this guy? Like, why is he? Do you know him? No. To actually, he's quite sound. Let's buy him a drink. He's actually quite funny. Let's keep him around. So, board games or video games?
Oh, that's a good question, because a lot of the board games have been out over the festive period. And I don't know why, but I was thinking about this earlier today. And I think they're called board games because you only play them if you're bored. And then I thought, are they boring, or are they just you play them to avoid the boredom? And this is what happens to my brain when I'm by myself, driving about, doing Amazon. Board games or guilty. I've just literally got back on Grand Theft Auto. If anyone is on PlayStation, I'm on a PlayStation 4. Don't hate me. If anyone's on Grand Theft Auto 5, I would love to play with people that can speak English that I know. Because you have to do heists in teams, and it's really hard when you're playing with people that don't speak English, and you can just hear their kids in the background running around being noisy. It's annoying as fuck. Anyway, I'm totally digressing, but I could easily be a computer game online that. Dan, right, a bit of an aside. I'm picking online gaming, or gaming. I can't remember which one you said. Not board games, boring, but board games online can be fun. But in Grand Theft Auto, I looked at my character, and bear in mind, you could be anything. You can be anything you want, right? You can look like an army guy, or you can look like a tranny. You could just be anything.
Spider-Man.
You could do anything, right? And I looked at it, and I'm like, I look exactly like me, apart from they don't have a beard big enough. So my beard's shorter, but everything, it looks just like me, even the coat that I'm wearing. And I spent time in my apartment having a drink by myself. I sat down and watched TV, and I thought, why have I just created my own life? And I was just sat in an apartment watching TV as my character. And then I was like, I better go and do a mission or something. And when I did the mission was you had to go and deliver a load of parcels to people's houses. Granted, it was counterfeit, but it was basically like me doing Amazon. And I was like, oh my God, my Grand Theft Auto life is the same as my actual life. I'm like, fuck this. I went and bazookaed some shit. Oh,
So you can't even try and escape reality by getting dealt reality.
I just created it again.
I was watching some. You could do some crazy stuff on that GTA 5, can't you? I got stuck. You know when you get in the loop when you someone posts a video on Facebook, and then all of a sudden you're sucked into this big streams of videos, and then all of a sudden you're watching someone walking around pushing people off of buildings on Grand Theft Auto, and then you find yourself getting out. I was watching the guy who's just dressed as Spider-Man, and he was just everywhere he was going, he was just like lining up loads of people just on like the edge of the world or whatever, and they're just pushing them off. And then I was just like, wow, that's there's people. I'm watching this, and then about 5 minutes in, I'm like, I'm still watching it. Like, what am I doing?
But do you know what you can do in that world, right? You can do missions and stuff. I actually own a nightclub, actually. I don't like to brag about it. But I get free drinks, which is nice. But on it, you can go to, there's a place, there's an arcade you can go in, and it's like a retro arcade. And we've spoken about retro stuff before. And I was playing this game. So you imagine Grand Theft Auto is set up, it's really modern, the graphics are phenomenal, it's streaming, you literally can play with somebody in Brazil and go around shooting, robbing banks and stuff. And I've chose to play this retro arcade game in an arcade, and the graphics on it are shit, but the playability is so good. And I'm like, and then I even went to the casino and I was watching the horse racing, and I'm like, it's crazy that what people would choose to do, even when they can do amazing, massive things. But yeah, this little retro game, I got hooked on it. It was good. In fact, you should sign up, Dan. Let's get online. Let's play together. I want to play with somebody. Grand Theft Auto 5. PS me. My name's Damo Show Fella.
I haven't got a PlayStation.
I think it's I think I'm FOR for show fella. Anyway, write in the comments if you're on PS5 or 4. GTA 5. Boom. Dan, it's 33 minutes gone already.
And I've still got 2 questions, yeah?
Oh, go on. Go. Physical
books or ebooks?
Oh, I like your thread here. You've got a theme going on, haven't you? Old school or new school. I would have to say audiobooks, which I know wasn't quite on your list there. Ooh. However,
that's electronic though. That's an electronic book.
Oh, does that count? Yeah, I haven't picked up an actual book for such a long time, and I listen to audiobooks most days. So absolutely modern day ebooks, and even I've revisited. You know my mate David Goggins. He's just brought out a brand new book called Never Finished, and his style of audiobook is great because in between chapters he does a podcast, and he basically fills in and gives you a bit extra on what was written in the actual book. That said, I do own the hard copy of his first book because he signed it for me. But I've now gone back to listening to his first book again. I'm going to listen to them both again and get myself absolutely jacked for fitness. So yeah, audiobooks. What about you?
Nice. I probably read a lot more ebooks, but I do have a couple of books that I read, physical books. So I bought quite a lot of, well, I say quite a lot of. Some like I've gone shopping and spent loads, but I've bought a couple of old cosmetic books and books about perfumery that date back to like 1972 and stuff like that. So just to read about old fashioned, because it hasn't really changed much in terms of perfumery and cosmetology and stuff like that. So I bought a few books, and I like that they're old and you can smell them, and there's 1,000 hand smell on it. You know, it's like it's got that sort of book smell. So I quite enjoy that. Just a quick one, going back to the previous question. They're called board games because they're played on a board.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I didn't know whether there was like a double meaning. We should do like an etymology episode about that.
Yeah, probably go back to playing game of chess, where it's served on a chessboard. So therefore, any game that was brought out and placed on a table was therefore a game on a board. Fiction or non-fiction? I think I know the answer to this already. Mine seems very book related and cultural.
This always tricks me. Fiction or non-fiction? Which one's
you fact? Like a story, or you like a truth? You like a story, or you like hard facts?
I like the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
Go backwards to the perfume books quickly. Are you reading that for the purpose of rune silk and developing scents, or is it just the fact that it's old? You like something old and smelly?
No, it is part of my research for rune silk. So I've been doing I've been always read about essence and alchemy and perfumery and stuff like that, and how to make scents work. It's why my products are so good. Cheeky little plug, runesilk.com. Go and get yourself some beard oils.
Do you remember the Ladybird books when you were a kid? Because
yes,
I
Ladybird Publishing.
Yes, I see them in antique centres, because I often go to an antique centre or a charity shop for a bit of thrifting, and I see them a lot, and they very much remind me of childhood. It's amazing. Like I have not seen this book for 30 years, and then you see it and you can remember. I remember when I read that and where you were and what was in it and how the book was, and it was absolutely amazing. So I get actually picking up a book can be very powerful and interesting. I suppose you won't get that with audiobooks in 30 years time. Will I go, oh,
no,
audiobook?
And I find sometimes, if quite a lot of the books that I look at, especially the older ones, have got really kind of cool illustrations in them, and a lot of them, they might be hand drawn. Obviously, not in each book, but they're hand drawn illustrations of like stuff and apparatus and just pictures that are really cool to look at. And it doesn't have quite the same impact, I think, on a digital screen where you've got to click on it and then zoom in on it and try and see bits. It's just doesn't have the same kind of view on a little device. That guy, the Ladybird books. Have you seen some of the ones that are a bit of a piss take? Like the Ladybird ones, like, ooh, that'll be expensive when it's like a book about mechanics or something like that.
Yeah,
I do like those. I think that's Ladybird, isn't it, that did those?
Yeah, it's the same actually with the. You used to get the Haynes manual for your car, so everybody would have a book for a Ford Escort 19 something or other, and now you can get Haynes manuals for hilarious other things like. I don't even know what they are, like toilets or something. Funny stuff. Or for being old, like a Haynes manual on being old, an old git or something. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, there we go. Is there any more, Dan? Because we're 38 minutes in. We're absolutely testing the patience
of
our viewers and listeners.
That's all 5 of mine. So all about the vacay, the culture, and books and stuff like that.
I love it. Let's top up the scores and see who won. It's a draw.
I think it's about 65. I think it's about 65.
35 to me. Like absolute half and half draw.
That makes it absolute 50-50 split on that 65-35 vibes.
Bloody marvellous. Well, thank you very much, Dan. It's been a lovely recording episode. Thank you very much to all of our listeners for listening in. We would be interested to find out which things you prefer. So let us know in the comments. We would be interested to learn if you want to play a bit of GTA 5. We would be interested... what would we ask? If you want to come and join us on the park run, because that would be pretty cool. I'll put some posts out about that. And we would be interested to hear how your new year has gone. So yeah, comment. We genuinely would like to have a little read. Big up to the people that do have a little comment. Michael, Sean, we know you're watching.
Ash got one in on the AI one as well. Ash, big shout to Ash.
Big up to the Ashley. There we go. Should we say bye, Dan?
I think we should, yeah.
Tell them to buy a box.
Buy a box. Oh, the box. Still got some number 2 box left. Those of you who are still listening, you probably think, oh shit, should have tuned off before they tried to sell me something. But there are still some of the number 2 boxes, and that's not because they're shit. They are the best boxes ever. Jam-packed amazing products. There's a balm, there's some oil, there's a key ring. Get yourself to beardmail.co.uk.
We did have some feedback on the last box, and people couldn't believe how much stuff was in it for just a mere $34.99. So if you do want one, message Dan, and if you're like, I want one, but I'm just not quite ready to get over the hurdle, Dan might be able to just sort you out. You know what I mean? Sort you out. If you've watched the podcast and you've listened this far, DM Dan if you want to buy one, and he might be able to sort you out. Dan, do a code or something. Do a code.
I'm sure we can do something. A little 5-piece or something. We'll sort you out. I'll look after you. Don't worry. Come to the room, Silk Emporium. I'll look after you.
Thanks for listening. Bye for now, everyone. Bye. Thanks for listening or watching the Beardmail podcast. We have new episodes dropping at 07:30 a.m. every Wednesday in UK time. So we thank you very much for watching. Check us out on www.beardmail.co.uk for everything that's new and happening soon. Thanks for listening, guys.